I hope that everyone is doing well and had an enjoyable 4th of July weekend. Our flight was delayed only slightly by weather, so that's why I'm in the car doing the broadcast. At any rate, let me hop over to the Facebook page so we can get started. If you missed this was a lot of fun. I had a great time talking with Carter about CBD. We went through a couple of different options about helping pets with different health conditions. And if you don't know Carter, he is from CBD Dog Health, the company that I've been working with over the last year or so, and just have super products. And actually, we'll chat about that on iPet Ally in a minute. And Bettina, thank you for this. I have not had a chance to take a look at this, but it's very interesting, kind of what's coming out. But this is a bunch of techniques you can use to help to start calm things down for dogs with phobias, and that is such a common problem. And I'll be doing a broadcast over the next week talking more about part of why this is happening. And Zoe, I'm sorry about your pup. With IBD, what I would suggest doing, if you've not done this already, is to do a Glacier Peak Holistics Life Stress Scan course to foods your pup is or is not sensitive to. And I'm not sure which guy you've got with this issue. I know Whiskey had some problems with liver, but basically, what I would do with that is, if you would like to do a consultation, is I can develop a rotation and elimination diet for you based on what food sensitivities come up as a positive. And Mary Beth had a really great response with Miranda, and things have worked out quite well. And really, you can do it the brute force method, meaning looking at what your pup has eaten over the last 6 months and simply not feeding those things. Or you can get a little more specific and make it a bit easier to know kind of which way to go in terms of types of carbohydrates and things of that nature. Let's see. I think we've got a couple of new blogs up, so check that out. And then Amy, this is a huge debate. And so there's kind of two different camps, and I agree. With liver, I'm not very excited about using a lot of that in the diet, because especially for the adult cows, it's that's what they use to clean up all the junk they eat in life. So as Aaron says, if you use a calf's liver, and especially then you can use that as a small percentage. It is like the big thing right now for people to be eating liver to get things of that nature in a natural format. And then, as Eleonora mentions, I grew up in Kentucky, in Louisville, which is a sizable city, but my family still ate all of the other bits and pieces, and there's a great deal of value in terms of eating heart, gizzard, kidneys, brains, thymus, things like that. And Eleonora, you're absolutely right. You are probably healthier because you're eating a variety of whole foods and not just the standard American diet, things of that nature. The other thing is in Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, and using glandular therapies, there is the concept of like treats like. So for instance, with kidney disease, again, kidneys filter out waste, so I'm not super hepped up on this, but you would feed a small amount of kidney to help support the kidney. You would heart, which is mostly a specific type of muscle to support the heart. So there's a lot of this that is makes sense. And honestly, that's why I created holistic total body support the way that I did, to supply organ meats so that pets are at least getting some amount of organ with. If you look a day for 6 weeks, by the end of the second week, she was starting to just sort of like, more fireworks, okay. And her reaction was so much better. So I think, Amy, supplements with cellulose, magnesium stearate, silicone dioxide, it's difficult to find supplements that don't have at least some level of these things. The cellulose out of all of those are the ones that I don't like as much, but it's just difficult to find them. Magnesium, there was a big concern about that. It turns out it's not such a big deal. Silicon dioxide can be an anti-inflammatory agent, and people will actually take it in supplement form. And then hydroxypolypropyl methylcellulose is a big mouthful, but it is very common in capsules, and I have not seen issues with it. And you can always open the capsule up, as you say, and pour it over the ingredients into the food. The only place where this gets to be a bit of a problem is with quercetin, because it does, and turmeric, things of that nature, because it does have a very potent taste. With grains and legumes, if he has not had a problem with eating a higher fat diet, a keto diet will actually be optimal for seizure control. So with that, then you would take out the grains and the legumes, as they are higher in carbs. And yes, it's actually not 25% of the diet, but 25 grams on the human side. But there are recipes in the members area that are keto for pets. And then measuring vegetables, we have some folks that like to measure by weight. Personally, I'm a lazy cook, so I just measure by cups. And frankly, I've figured out that a hand grab, so literally taking my hand and grabbing vegetables like this, it is about a cup of food. Great, I'm glad to see some comments here. I'll get back to those in a second. Let me keep rolling on here. And if turmeric is a problem, then I would try ginger. If that is not a very similar action. If it's a big problem, I would just, if that's a problem as well, I would just leave it out of the diet. And yes, Lolly is correct. If you don't use beans, then I would add extra half a pound of protein and then increase the fat content as per the keto recipes. And Gia, welcome. I think we've actually got a question over here. And asking this in the chat, so I'm just going to put here. Yeah, so with your pup, the SDMA at 40, if that's the only thing that's elevated and not BUN and creatinine, often this indicates a problem with inflammation in general. So that needs to be taken care of. And then as far as, it sounds like you're going to have to take your pup to a boarding kennel for a couple of months. And if they're not going to be able to do a home-cooked meal for him, and I get it, ask at least if they could add in some cooked vegetables, but they may not have freezer space for this. So it depends on what you're trying to do with the dog. If you're trying to help protect against kidney disease or not, what I would do is select things that have hopefully single proteins if possible and single carbohydrates, and then ask your boarding kennel to add as much water to the diet as is possible. So, Gio, I hope that is helpful, and if you've got something else you would like to ask, please do. And as far as brand recommendations, I would check what's available in your store. A lot of people will use Sojo's or Dr. Harvey's or I'm forgetting the other one, Honest Kitchen. But I think the Sojo's and Honest Kitchen are the ones that are the most popular. And in the recipe, the typical recipes that use beans and grains will call for 3 pounds of protein. So if you haven't had a chance to, Gio, check out the members area on our website. If you've had trouble getting in, my folks will help you get there. And then Pam, your Spirit is just a champ. And I can do this with to some degree with Hayo, although she gets a little picky from time to time. But it's weird, both she and Pepe will not eat quercetin outside of the capsule, so it's kind of a challenge a bit. And then I'm prepping for my coaches program and wanted to show you this diagram I came across about cat brains. And that it just was cracking me up. And so I was looking for things that show kind of what part of the brain does what, and this is what popped up for cats. So I love this. Attack reflexes. Go ahead and move again. I dare you. And that's so cat. So let's off if it'll play with me. Is start with approximately what you've been feeding in terms of cups. I know you're trying to get some weight on. So, for instance, if you've got an 89-pound dog, that's probably going to be 3 cups twice a day. So start with that. You can also add extra carbohydrates and fat to help keep body weight on as well. So I hope that helped. And I think that has got it. If you all have questions, pop them up there. Just to let you know kind of what's coming up, we've got a couple of fun podcasts coming up, and I'm going to be doing some more videos on YouTube talking about one of the effects of spaying and neutering that I've just kind of run across and helps explain a lot of the disease issues we're seeing with pets. And then come the end of July, we're actually going to start taking on our second class of certified pet health coaches. So if that is something of interest to you, this will be about a 14-week program. And at the end of the course, you will be trained in the way that I sort of think. And while we're not trying to teach at the level where you can start interpreting, be a veterinarian, essentially, what you can do is similar to what happens for human coaches. They help people make lifestyle changes using diet, supplements, exercise, things like that for pets. And so I'm just so jazzed about this. We're entering week 9 Thursday. The response I'm getting from my 4 beta testers has just been awesome. So they're starting to work with friends and family to help improve health conditions for their pets. And then their final exam will be a couple of test consultations with people. So we'll be sort of drafting folks for that as well. So that's what I've got for you this week. We will see you next week, same time. And I will see iPets Alice in about